You're live.
Mayang buntag, mayang hapon, mayang gabi, no matter where you are in the world. I gotta
And
fix some things.
welcome to our Phyllis Food Finish channel. Let's see if there's a volume. Stop.
Hey there, hi there, ho there. Can you still see me clearly?
Yeah.
Okay, very cool.
See you.
I'm actually going to do something on the computer. Well,
Yes, I can still see. Okay, so it took me how many months to get
well, you ain't kidding on that one.
an appointment for renewing my passport.
Yeah, because you started that.
Be right back. I need to get my cell phone stand.
But yeah, I'm actually doing something in the background here as well. That I try to let people know as we go live, especially from the office, because I can do it. And I know there's a way to set up a
There you go. I got my stand.
a mail list on these Facebook pages that anyone who wants the notification, we can actually send out, and it comes as an individual message, not the mass mailing that you and 500 other people get notified at the same time. Just I notified everybody that I could think of. That is a normal regular here. There we go.
How do you say it? Yeah, aura. Yeah, aura, that means hello. Oh, thank you.
Kia ora means hello where?
New Zealand.
Oh, New Zealand speak English. I guess there is a.
Yeah.
Where's Kia ora mean? Hello. What
dialect of their region or something. Sorry.
Oh, that's cool. But yeah, because you've been trying off and on for 2 months.
Oh no. I
3 months now?
started in February, March.
Yeah. Yeah, because your passport hadn't ran out when you first started.
April. So.
And it finally expired in April.
So we went April to BFA, hoping that I could do walk-in.
Yeah, because at that point it started to get a little bit more urgent. And by that point you knew you were pregnant, so you might be, you were kind of hoping to parlay that and play the pregnant card to cut line.
Yeah. And yeah, April, so April, May, June. Oh, wow, it's 3 months.
No,
and
you actually started in March, didn't you? Yeah, you started.
I tried to
you were
do
doing the pregnant thing since April. You know, trying to get the
I tried to do the courtesy lane, but I still need to get an appointment online. And every time I go, it's like I'm
yeah, that's what you were complaining about. That courtesy lane filled up in 20 minutes online.
No, like 2
minutes
online. The last time I can do it, I'm gonna win. Yes, I win.
Yeah, you gotta love Philippines. What can I say?
Yeah. What else? We did grocery shopping yesterday. I was talking to my mama. We always go to the mall when here in the city. It's Sunday. We went to SM side for Father's Day. And we just before New Zealand and Maori descendants from Hawaii. Oh,
Oh, okay.
that's cool.
Yeah, that's the people that they did the
Moana.
Moana video about.
Yeah.
And that actually said it was kind of crappy. Anyways, that's let's not go there. Uh, that yeah, because even we went to one pavilion and oh, I got a toaster.
Yes, for 675.
The only toasters I'd seen were some highfalutin fancy super saucy thing in the Metro store over at Ayala.
Yeah.
They were like 1,500 pesos, like 30, $40, and it just wasn't worth it to me.
Yeah.
And we actually went in for another fan. We stole that one from downstairs, and it works really well up here. And plus, it has a wall mount. There's a strong chance that we may have some guests coming. A couple of subscribers have been invited. And if we want to putting a couch in here, we'll probably just mount it on that back wall. That way we'll keep the breeze going in this room because this is the only one of the 3 bedrooms that does not have an AC. So yeah, anybody that's coming to stay in this, coming to stay with us, you're not gonna have an AC, sorry.
Or we could move Mama and Papa for a couple of weeks. We don't mind.
No, that could happen too.
You know how welcome we are.
That especially in Canada, our friends come. But we got another fan for downstairs. One just doesn't cut it. I think it's just too big of an area or too weird shaped of an area. With 2, it seemed to help an awful lot. Now, I've had several people ask questions about this, and her and I were kind of talking about it just before we logged in. Yeah, I'm skipping through, changing topic horribly. Governor Gwen and the national powers that be are still kind of duking it out, having a little bit of a piss and mash. Gwen still desperately wants to do the test on arrival. If you're not, if you test negative and not sick after 3 days, no signs, no symptoms, go home, do your 14-day at home. She's not doing away with the 14-day. She's just saying there's no sense in doing 10 days here and testing after 7. If you don't have symptoms after 7, there's no sense in the test. And if you've taken the test and have no symptoms after 3 days, there's no sense in staying at a hotel that you don't need to stay at. Spending money you don't need to spend. And for the agency, spending money that they don't need to spend at this point. So, and I guess a couple of lawyers have taken up lawsuits, and it's getting, I don't know. But at least it is open. People can come. It's just up in the air on how you're actually going to get tested and quarantined, and whether you can do it at your house after 3 days, or if you've got to do it, the bulk of it here at a hotel, or because I guess some faction within the IATF, if you're fully immunized, you don't need to test, and you can leave after 3 days. And it just.
Yeah, I need to look also over the requirements of going to Manila because Mama and Papa are going to Manila. So when we go to J Center more later, I'll ask one of the travel team if what's their requirements, because you can see online, like in Cebu Pacific, there's travel guideline, but you need to get swab test first. And then in other website is it's okay to fly as long as you have ticket. When you arrive in Manila, that's the time you get swab test. So
And that's it. It's still so up in the air that they don't even know what's going on, to be bluntly honest.
yeah, so
Uh, and I don't know.
we'll see.
Oh yeah, and that and I've heard of people. I've heard of it happening to people that their planes in mid route have literally been rerouted.
To,
Well, no, one of them, the B family, wanted to fly to Manila. The hubby.
oh, are they coming back here?
No, this is a while ago.
Oh.
He wanted to fly to Manila,
Mhm.
and this is when Manila was going through a stupid lockdown. That and his plane got rerouted after leaving to Cebu.
Yeah.
And there was some reason that he had to go through Manila for records or papers or something like that, because he wound up going back to Manila, did a quarantine there, got his stuff done, came back to Cebu, did a quarantine there, got his stuff done to go back to Bohol. And it just, he spent almost a month in quarantines. Just I don't know. And I've heard of several people here.
Imagine the struggle in that, no? Last time for the wee family, the quarantine and so on and so forth,
Well, I think the entire family is back in the U.S. at this point.
Yeah, they're traveling in the RV. Which is good.
It is. It's real cool, and it's giving the kids an opportunity that a lot of kids wouldn't have. And it's a really neat opportunity to travel the U.S. And they're both, him and her are both in a situation where they can without a problem. So I would highly encourage them.
Hi, John, from the Philippine Experience.
Hey, John, how you doing this morning?
Good evening for him.
Okay. Hi, John. Good evening this morning.
I love you. You're silly.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's 9:30 at night back there where you're at. So actually good night. But so how's your day go today?
She's silly.
Ours is shaping up to be interesting. Oh, I got a thing from people. I got a text from one of the delivery services that my order's on its way. The only thing I can think of that's an order on its way, but isn't supposed to be here until like next week, is the band for the bad computer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I spend way too much time and money on Lazada. So my bad. Lazada's usually cheaper than most things you can get, even after paying the shipping. So, yeah, because I was looking at a couple of toolboxes. You can't get tool cabinets here.
My wife finally is asking me to time out and others to go to the
Oh, very cool.
That's cool.
Well, that's what Lloyd didn't even expect. But hey, late's better than never.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's interesting if we travel. Like let's say that I'll go back to work. I'm aware of winding up resign. If I do 1 month and 2 months, I will just do LOA, leave license.
that
No?
a lot of companies, if you go for a month or two, will let you do a leave of absence,
Yeah.
especially if you're a desired employee, which you are every place you go.
Oh, thank you.
Uh,
I like that.
hmm,
You're awesome husband. You know that.
just being honest. Even that healthcare place that you left with, not on bad terms, but kind of a bitter taste for you. That even they're asking, because originally they were saying, no, you couldn't do it from overseas. And now they're saying, would you maybe consider doing it from overseas, or are you possibly coming back? Or
You keep asking.
then
I
the
know,
attitude I'm getting from Cindy is, well, if you weren't quite such jerks, I'd probably think about it. But yeah, I'm good.
of becoming Americans.
That's
Americanized, right?
yeah. Yeah, we're gonna. I'm all over the bases today. My mind is horribly scattered today, so I'm kind of shotgunning out there random thoughts, stray thoughts that, and this kind of actually goes back to the topic that we listed. That they've got to go to Pacific Mall. Anybody's been to Cebu, Pacific Mall is not a bigger, more mainstream mall, and parking is kind of a challenge at Pacific Mall. They also need to go to J Center Mall. And so what we're going to do, Papa and I are going to go. We're going to drop them off at Pacific Mall. Papa and I are going to run over to J Center Mall. And now I'm going to look that there's a stationery store and a couple other places that there's a chance I might be able to find some business card stock, paper stock that heavy.
Calling cards. Tell the calling cards. They don't understand business cards.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Just tell them calling cards and then 250 GCL. So it's like,
I'll need to write that down. Or actually text it. Do I use Wish? I make wishes. I have wishes.
it's a different kind of, it's like the same with Lazada or Shopee or,
Well, there's one here called Wish.
yeah, I think so.
I've never heard of it. Cindy said this doesn't screw up the live stream, so I'm actually gonna do this. So you're gonna get weird looks on my face.
Oh, there you go. Good. Ding, 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 ding.
I'd never heard of Wish.
I've heard that before. And
I'll have to scope it out and check it out better.
see,
Because right now all it's coming up with is like shirts and pins and stuff like that.
see.
But it may be the way I typed it in there too, because I typed it in Wish Philippines. So I think I see them advertising on Facebook a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, Daniel Ford is here.
Hey Daniel, how you doing this morning? I was just going back looking at David mentioned Wish, and I'd never heard of it. But the logo on the store kind of looked like something I remember seeing on Facebook.
Where did you put the, oh, okay, you put the clips in here?
Yeah, I gotta fix her.
Oh, that's cute. Actually, I like this.
It's
Sorry, I got distracted. We focus there. Daniel said, good, what's Wish?
it's an online shopping place. We got paper clips,
Like that. Yeah.
and well, Cindy's playing them. We got binder clips yesterday at one pavilion, or yeah, one pavilion. But that's what she was looking at and getting distracted with. Yeah, it's a shopping website
Yes.
that I was making comment about. I spend way too much time on time and money on Lazada here. But there again, back in the U.S., I spend way too much time and money on
You need to stop it.
Amazon. But yeah, hey,
You're good.
I got back there. I got the excuse, hey, I'm a Prime member. I need to justify my membership.
Here, you said, oh, it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah, and I actually want about on a side note on there, but you can't buy you can't buy tool chests here, or you can through Lazada. I found them, but they're kind of pricey. That
Because in the shopping website, maybe David said it's like an AV Amazon. Then Neil Ford said, I'm a Prime member.
yeah, if you do much shopping on Amazon, it's well worth the Prime membership.
Did we cancel ours or not?
We still keep ours active for the video portion to it. We watched videos a few times a year, but haven't watched them terribly much. And with current developments, I don't see sense in canceling it.
We didn't really watch her because when you're here, there's a charge. Or you need to do VPN.
I've managed to get VPN to work a couple times, going around to random different servers in the U.S. The Prime one that we use ExpressVPN. It's an awesome VPN. If you go there, tell them I sent you. I don't know if it's going to be good. It definitely can't hurt. That for most things are great. Amazon is one that they are stupid picky on. And one day I sat there and just bounced around like 8 different VPN sites in the US and managed to find one that Amazon recognized as being from the US and didn't recognize as a VPN site. Now, I've never tried the Amazon stick. I wonder if that would be any better.
We could try.
Yeah, that would have to be tried next time because you have to get it in the US.
We'll see.
Now, something like that would work great with our projector. I think it would be with our projector. I'm not sure how we'd figure that one out. Because they got that Fire Stick and a few others. It's the HDMI input.
Yeah.
You just plug it straight into so that way you don't have to mess with the computer and cables and all that good garbage.
David, everybody has some kind of advice.
Yeah, I would say mine's just a little bit more expensive than most, but you check out the price of good drugs lately. And that's a comment I am not exploring any more than that. But there again, weed's legal in a bunch of states too. So, we've looked at a couple options, and the condo we were staying at, it was laid out in such a way that the projector that we brought worked perfect. You're on the screen. You can use this one.
No.
Here we've done it a few times. It's a little bit more cumbersome, and then once when we get her desk and the computers both moved up here, we'd have to bring a computer back downstairs to do the projector. We bought an inexpensive, decent projector off of Amazon before we came here, knowing that we probably weren't going to be lugging a TV around with us all the places. And we've actually used it quite extensively over the condo that we were watching Netflix and several others pretty much nightly over there on it. Since we've been in here, we've only watched it a couple times. A couple of years ago, Daniel, a couple of years ago, I actually looked at all of the VPN, did the homework on all of them. And as of a couple of years ago, the best bang for your buck, in my opinion, was ExpressVPN. I've never looked to see whether or not they've got an affiliate program. I really should. That I've heard of a bunch of people using the Fire Stick here, and is Amazon the Fire Stick? Because there was one other that I heard a lot about. What was Amazon or Amazon the plugin or the Fire Stick? I don't know. But anyways, I've heard of that, and from what I understand, that would probably work great with that projector that we've got, because I believe it just plugs right in and you. I'm not big into alcohol, but I do like a beer every now and then. Oh, the Cobra. I think I may have found the Cobra that we were talking about, but it's a Singapore beer that happens to be brewed here as well as in Singapore. And it is the same stuff that I got back in the US, but the stuff I got back in the US was actually brewed in Singapore. As soon as Cindy gets out, I'll have her run down and grab a can. I bought a can, and I'll show it to you guys and see if anybody else has tried it. All right, Daniel, when you plug it into the HDMI, how do you tell it what you want or anything? Or do you have a different remote or what? I've never really looked terribly big into them. Back in the States, I used Roku. Roku was great. And I don't know whether or not it would work here, because I thought about bringing a system over, or if you would run into the issues of it being out of country. And I don't remember hearing anybody that had Roku. The app that I've got, that's something I've never tried. Yeah. I've never messed around with Roku app here, so I don't know that you can use it, but I'm gonna have to mess with it here and see what happens. Because that's another one kind of like that. All right, so that may actually work perfectly with that projector. Because that way, all I need to do is power the projector. I wouldn't need to. Roku has apps that you do, and the apps are what you actually watch. You don't watch Roku. Like back home, we had a CW on it. For a while, we were doing YouTube TV on it, a few others. But yeah, there's a bunch of different ones you can get. When I was in the US, I subscribed to Hulu, and that was when we got on it. We played Netflix through an app on it because of the Netflix subscription. And I'm thinking that might actually work here too. I haven't thought about the Roku, but that might actually work. And that's something I'm kind of kicking myself for not having to explore a little bit more back in the US. Yeah, I'm gonna copy too. So when she gets back, I'll actually have her do double duty and go downstairs and make coffee. Uh, Give me 2 minutes. No, I'm not making coffee. I'm just gonna get and show the projector. Sorry about that, people. It's easier for me to just show things versus yeah, sorry about that, people. Than it is to try and explain them some days. That I don't know if we can see it. We got that on Amazon just before we left, and we played with it a little bit. The thing that I liked on it is it's got the card slots for okay, it's got the card slots for a full size SD card. It's got the USB connection, and it connects in a bunch of different ways. And I played with all of them, and they work pretty well. It's got the jack for an external headphone, and you need a powered speaker because it doesn't do well without it. We tried it on a speaker that just plugged and plugged, and it didn't do great. That you need a powered system. But yeah, that's the projector that I'm talking about today. It's great. We do we got a screen for it and a few other things that works really good. Now, is that the Tiger that you're talking about?
Where did you get it? Did you go down?
Yeah, right now. Is there any chance you can make me coffee? You can take that. Yeah. Just set it like that on top on your desk. The picture quality is not bad. It leaves a I don't want to say this. It's unquestionably not HD. That there's no question in that. But it's for what it is, it's not bad. Now I'm pretty sure there was a bar that used to have like 100 and some beers from different countries. Oh, no worries, guy. Go pick up the wife. I know that feeling. That I have done that for quite some time. Cindy didn't learn to drive until right before we left. And definitely thank you for stopping by and coming and joining us today. That all of the support and encouragement that you guys give is greatly appreciated, and it helps motivate me to make sure I stick to a schedule of duties. So it's honestly helping in more ways than you realize. Yeah, I got sidetracked for a second. Then I've seen that I've had this in the U.S. I don't think I've had the Tiger Black though. But the Tiger that I knew of, what was brewed in Singapore, and it wasn't that I didn't care for it, but there was a bar back in the U.S. that I used to frequent in my younger days. That they had like 160, 100, not quite 200 different beers from various countries around the world. And they had a logbook that if in 90 days or something like that, you were able to drink all of them. So you got this T-shirt and a plaque on the wall and all this other crap, and I got my T-shirt. Been there, done that, got the T-shirt. I have no idea what happened. That was a long time ago. I enjoy trying different beer flavors and such. I think I actually got into a discussion on here one time. That a friend of mine back home, that he brew what they call barley wine, and it's kind of some neat stuff. And it's made with beer ingredients, but brewed with wine yeast and aged like a wine. And so it's kind of wine with beer ingredients. I guess it'd be the better way to describe it. It's beer brewed like a wine. I'm not sure which. It's kind of this weird crossbreed that I've had a few of his I really liked, because his were almost more it had a slight wine flavor in that it didn't have the real strong bitters. I've had some that was horrible. It's kind of hard to find. And when you do, it's usually fairly pricey. So, but again, it's definitely worth trying. The one thing I haven't found, in my different drinking days, is I've never found some genuine honey mead, and I'd kind of like to try some of that one of these days. I think that's going to have to be something to wait until we when and if we ever go back to the U.S. That she disappears. I'm kind of wondering what's going on. Yeah, I don't give me small objects in front of me. It kind of goes back to that ADD squirrel, all that fun stuff. So, I've tried a couple of different meats, and some are really good, some are. Back in Arizona, every spring, President's Day to the third weekend in March, that they would have this big Renaissance festival. And that there they had a lot of the more artesian type brews, but it was a place that that type of stuff, the older style brews is very common. So it's a good market for them. Some of the microbreweries were.
That's what.
Oh, it's hot. That now the one thing I've tried out here that I never thought I'd try before is that tuba, and I found out there's two different styles of tuba. There's one that's
white and
that's white, and it kind of tastes like vinegar. And then there's an orange
that's so sweet.
that is really good.
Yeah, that's the one that's.
And that one I wouldn't mind trying again. Because I heard some really polar opposites about tuba. I think that may be what it is. That people are trying one and not realizing there's another. And I was thinking it was just the different ways that people would brew it and stuff like that. Because and again, I like San Miguel, but I prefer Red Horse. If you put two of them side by side, I'll pick the Red Horse every time.
Oh my God, I'm sleepy.
The other thing we tried was fighter wine.
Yeah,
It was a fight getting that down. Matter of fact, it won. We didn't get it down. I tried a couple, 3 slugs of it, and she tried a Cindy-sized sip of it. And yeah, no, we've been there, done that. Would not recommend fighter wine to anybody. I like the fighter boys and their stuff and their videos when they all get together. They can keep their case of wine that they give out. That is some. It kind of reminded me of like some of the old style cough syrups that your parents would force a spoon of that down your throat and had to plug your nose to get it down there.
Yeah.
There was one day my mother plugged my nose and was trying to make me swallow, and it wouldn't work, and I just kind of held my mouth open and was breathing through my mouth, so she shut my mouth and held my mouth shut until I swallowed. My actual preference is scotches and harder liquor, and so the strong doesn't bother me, and yeah, a really strong beer that I'll just drink and treat more like a glass of scotch or the rum that I'm doing now, and just sip it accordingly. If you're a relatively heavy drinker, yeah, Red Horse can get you in trouble quick. One Red Horse is about like 2 or 3 beers, so it's.
Maybe I said, have you tried Cuba there? Just several times.
Yeah, we tried Tubi here.
The white and the orange.
Yeah, I didn't realize that there was 2 different versions. The white that I had was kind of like vinegar, and the red that I had was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Red or brown?
Red.
Red. I guess they call it red Tubi here. I'm not sure if it's just where it's brewed locally, which one's preferred or what. But
The red one is.
uh,
The white is good first, then for but if they just got it like 10 minutes, you need to drink it quick so you could taste the sweet. But beyond 10 minutes, it gets sour. That's why when you try to taste it, it's red. So it's been 30 minutes when you get harvested or you get from the tree.
oh,
The red one, you could do that after 4 hours, so it's still sweet. More than that, it tastes different.
Oh,
So this
really?
is fine. Yeah.
So Tuba has an exceedingly short shelf life.
Yep.
Okay, that I did not realize. Now I've had Everclear. I've had Everclear straight, and the tube I had was more like freaking. It did. It reminded me of vinegar taste.
For the white one.
Yeah, the white. It reminded me of a wine that had turned to vinegar.
Yeah.
Way back in the day, high school and right after Black Tower was a real common wine that everybody liked. And just a couple times, a day or two later, I'd find a bottle in the back of my car, and it went to hit it. And yeah, I know what wine that turned to vinegar tastes like. That Hyder?
I'm not sure.
Where is Hyder?
Search it.
We're gonna have to Google Hyder. Ooh. We've got a friend of ours that we've actually got a couple of friends of ours that they met and did their courtship before the days of the internet.
You didn't get it, Eddie. You're more Americanist than I am. Hyder, Alaska.
I'm from the continental United States. I've never heard of Hyder. Oh, that's that tail.
Yeah.
For anybody else that doesn't know where Hyder is, that it's just inside of Alaska. It's in that little tail that comes down that borders Canada. Yeah, I've never heard of Hyder, Alaska. I got a sister that lives up in Washington in that area. I'll have to ask her if she knows Hyder or the only Alaska I've ever really heard of is Roslyn, and that's not actually a town. That's just off an old TV show. The town that it's done in is actually Washington. So what's so special about Hyder, Alaska? Again, I've never heard of it. If we go back, we'll have to see about coming up and making a visit.
Mhm.
Speaking of which, everybody remember next Monday is the Zoom meeting. As a matter of fact, after we get done with this, between this and lunch, I'm actually going to start doing some posts and do some
Yeah.
on our Facebook page.
We need to go to that.
Okay. Well, it's actually coming up on 10 o'clock anyhow. So we were about 10, 15 minutes late. Sorry about that. But and this kind of goes back to the ADD issues. But I would just I got involved with the Sudoku game. I'm sorry. I haven't got a really good a really good excuse for today.
The Zoom meeting is a fun.
On the 28th, yeah, okay. I'm trying to run through my mind on the 28th and the 28th. Yeah, okay. I was just thinking next Monday. I wasn't thinking 28th. I'm sorry.
But
Before we started this, I was teasing Cindy about you could only have pumpkin on the 3rd, 4th, 9th, or 13th. And so she asked October and November. And I said, I don't care, but those are the only days you can have pumpkin on. And what I was thinking is my birthday's 4/13 and hers is 9/3.
it's just so funny.
And it took her forever, and I finally literally had to tell her, that those are the months and days that we were born. And it just, my mind thinks in really weird ways. So me thinking Monday and not thinking 28th and not being able to connect the two, it is not a big deal. It does happen. I'm sorry. I was teasing her. I see patterns where patterns don't exist. And yes, if you ever meet me in person, I am exactly like this. There is no stage personality for me. If anything, until you get to know me in person, I'm a little bit more quiet than this. But
It's 10 o'clock.
and somebody wants to grab a shower, and that passport thing that we're talking about, she wants to grab lunch and get going, and that way we can have lunch. And,
I need rest too, so.
yeah, she needs a lot of rest. You guys know I ain't got to deal with what happens if she doesn't get the rest. So she needs the rest. But we really appreciate you guys being able to sit here and listen to us for a lot of the length of time we do. Tomorrow is going to be a walking live stream.
For you, me, I'm gonna go to hospital.
Actually, what time? Yours is like 8?
8 to 10.
8 to 10? What I'm going to do is I'm going to go down with Papa. We'll run you down, drop you guys off. Papa and I'll walk up to the stationaries. Check that out. That should be about 9. And Papa and I'll just walk that area until 10 when you're done. And we'll just all come back home that way.
We're gonna stop by Herbalife and get some food to come next week. We're gonna spend money.
Anyways, so you're going to have a live stream from Fuentes type area tomorrow with Papa and I walking.
Ramos area.
Which Ramos is that?
1 year in Renewal, fellas.
M Ramos or something like that?
Yeah, F Ramos.
F Ramos. Because there's a V Ramos screen over
F Ramos.
where we're.
Near to Fuente.
Yeah, so. But you're going to have a walking live stream from there. So, mabuhay. Enjoy.